We've got about 3 to 4 acres of usable pasture grass where we are, and when we first moved out here, before we had animals, that seemed like a lot of grass. And in fact, I had a bush hog, and I ended up bush hogging grass all summer long. And after a while, it got kind of be ridiculous that you had all this grass and having to mow it when something could be eating it, and then you could be eating whatever was eating it. And so we got animals. We finally got our milk cow again after we had a period of time when we didn't have any. And we got a horse, which does nothing but eat grass. But then once you have animals, you go from having potentially too much grass to cut to not having quite enough to feed livestock. And we've had several cows, we've got 2 horses now, and so the solution that we found that's worked very well for us is just tethering, the animal of the day or whatever, or even more than one out, and it utilizes grass that you would normally have reserved for a front yard or a backyard, and it puts it to use. It just seems a shame to let all of this grass that could be used for feed to go to waste, or to go to the feed store and buy 50 pounds of feed to supplement, or go buy hay. And now hay is up to, where we live, $70 for a round bale to feed animals, when potentially you could have a half acre, a quarter acre, an acre of grass that they could be eating. So every morning we come out and mostly get Fiona there, and see if she'll come on over. And tethering, there's a lot of opinions about tethering, and a lot of people don't like it. They say you shouldn't tether out a horse, you shouldn't tether out a cow, but we've never really had a problem with it. And it's not something that you want to do and walk away for the whole day, or go do something. There needs to be somebody here watching them, and to keep an eye on them, because occasionally they will get, Fiona will get down in the woods and she'll get tangled up, and you have to go down and untangle her and pull her back out, and it's no big deal. But it's not something that you want to leave them alone doing. One of the issues that we have here where we live is, our grass, we have sandy soil, and our pasture grass is mostly bahia. And we've tried to seed it over the years with different stuff, but if you've ever dealt with bahia, it was designed for roadside, low maintenance, and grows great anywhere, anytime. It's very resistant to drought, and but as for a foraging grass, it's not very good at all. So we're just trying to expand out the acreage as much as we can. So we try to keep harnesses on all our animals, and Fiona's probably needs to be replaced here pretty shortly, but so that every morning we can come out, or whenever we want to, and they just get used to getting hooked up, and they are always very excited about moving to a new area of grass. And so you can see her here. She knows what's happening, and they'll spend several hours doing this a day, and just try to keep them near some water, or maybe put the bucket of water out near them. And it just, it's something that works for us. And of course the chicken's always excited about it too, because she follows Fiona around all day long, hoping that she'll turn up some bugs. And the two of them are kind of symbiotic together there, and you hardly ever find one without the other. We've actually found the chicken perching on the back of Fiona sometimes during the summer, because you'll have flies or horse flies that land, and the chicken will just sit there and wait and peck them off as it happens, which is kind of neat to watch. I will actually kind of let Fiona decide where she wants to go each day. She pretty much remembers from the day before where she left off on the grass and where the new grass still is. So we'll bring her out here and just kind of stand in one place and let her go to see where so you can see she's running because she remembers where she left off and where the new grass is. And I usually give her about 30 seconds to a minute to kind of settle in an area, and then I'll just tie her off where she can be in that area for the day. And of course, here comes the chicken. And you know, like I said, we'll keep her there for anywhere from 2 hours, depending on if we're gonna leave and go into town, or you know, all day, and we'll give her some water. But you know, I don't know if you can tell here, but the grass that's, you know, growing here is a whole lot more lush and thick than what she's got in her pen right now. This is still May, so around here the grass really hasn't even started to take off yet. It usually doesn't do that until about June. But like I said, not everybody likes tethering. Not everybody agrees with it. If you ask, you know, 5 people what they think about tethering animals out, you'll get 5 different opinions. But we've been doing this for a long time. It works for us. It's you know, it requires you have some responsibility to keep an eye on them. But you know, there's certain times when we've got 3 animals, you know, tethered out all at one time, and all 3 of them are grazing. And you know, it keeps our gasoline consumption down because we don't have to mow the grass as much. It fertilizes the yard, and that we need a lot because we have really infertile soil around here. And so to us, it's just kind of a, you know, it's what works. And so I just want to do this to talk about how to, if you're on a small piece of land and you don't have a lot of pasture but you want livestock, how to utilize that land and that grass as much as you can, without being so much worried about, well, in order to have a cow, I'm going to have to fence off 2 acres, and how much is that fencing going to cost? And like I said, it's an alternative that you can consider. And I'll tell you another added benefit to tethering that we found is that, you know, you and your animal get a lot more time together where you're kind of working with each other. It's on a harness, so it's used to being kind of under your control. And Fiona has become a whole lot more tame since we've been doing this. She responds to voice commands a lot more because there's kind of this action versus reward going on, where she knows if she's just patient with us and lets herself get hooked up and lets herself get, you know, moved around, that she's going to be rewarded with some new fresh grass. And so she becomes a lot more obedient and a lot more personable with us, which really helps, especially because she's a milking cow. And when she's milking and we're milking her, we really need her to be, you know, as compliant and tame as possible. And so this has really helped her get over any kind of skittishness that she's had. She's very used to us. It's gotten to the point where, you know, some of the children can come out and do this. The older children can come out and do this, and it's just not an issue. They can walk right up to her, hook her up, and you know, move her out to where she needs to be, and go back in the house or whatever, go on with what they were doing. And so it helps form, I guess, the bond between us and her that may not exist otherwise.